Hey guys, wish I could be there to help you through this, but you are going to be listening to this and hopefully understanding. Let's go. Okay, so this is just adding a little extra wrinkle to what we've been talking about in solving equations. So we are, all right, ready to go. Here we go. So this is the type of equation we're going to be solving today. You can notice that there's a number outside the parentheses. All right, that's so in contrast to here. All right, what's the difference? Well, in this case, the 3 is applied to both. In this case, the 3 is only applied to that x. So sometimes I talk about the 3 outside the parentheses as like the guard. And the parentheses are like the jail, and you have to get rid of that guard somehow to free up the other stuff inside the parentheses, and to eventually isolate the variable. So what are we doing? All right. Well, there's two methods to doing this. Okay, there's two methods. The first one I want to go over is actually the one that they say is second, the second method. So let's look at method 2. I briefly went over it in class yesterday, but the method here is, right, method 2, we're looking here, is to use the distributive property first. Boom, boom, right? So write the equation, then use the distributive property. So we are going to do that, and then it's just following the steps we did yesterday. We're just isolating that x. It's kind of like sad met. We're getting rid of anything, any terms that are being added or subtracted. So we get rid of that plus 15 here by subtracting 15. What we do to one side, we have to do the other side. All right, so since we're subtracting to both sides, we're using the subtraction property of equality. That cancels that out and leaves us with 3x minus 30. And then we're going to divide by 3, as they show, using the division property of equality, and that gets us 10. Okay, I think that's it's using two skills that you already know, distributive property and then solving two-step equations. So that is probably going to be a lot of your first choice in solving these. But if we go up to method 1, all right, we can actually get rid of that guard to the jail in another way. All right, if you thought of it, if you think of it like this, I'll do a more simple one over here. 2x plus 1 equals 6. Let's do e. Okay. Well, if we think of it on a balance, all right, a seesaw, what does 2 times x plus 1 mean? It means we have an x, we'll do our x train, our algebra tile trains, and we have a 1, right? So that's what's in the parentheses, but then we have 2 of those, right? So we have another one identical to that, an x and a 1. And they equal 8 ones. Right? Well, we have 2 identical things on the left side, right? So if we just say cut this in half or divide it by 2, divide it into 2 equal parts, and we can divide this into 2 equal parts, we see that x plus 1 equals 4. All right, then we can just use subtraction property of equality and get x equals 3. All right, so dealing with the guard, instead of distributing it, we can divide this whole side into 2 equal groups, divide this into 2 equal groups. That cancels that out and leaves us with the x plus 1. And when we divide x divided by 2, we get the 4. Okay, so that's the other strategy that we can do. And you can see it right over here, right? If there's a value out front of the parentheses, we can divide by it, and it equals 1. Okay, there's 3 groups of x plus 5, so if we divide by 3, we'll just get 1 group of x plus 5. All right, 1 group of x plus 5 right there. And now we just isolate the variable by getting rid of that plus 5 by subtracting 5. All right, so that is the lesson. You can use these 2 examples to help you with that. And, oops. And let's see if, before we let you work on the assignment, let's see if you can try a check here. So let's try this one right here. I'll show it both ways. Pause and try it yourself, and then you can check your work. So I'm going to do it both ways. All right, hopefully you pause. But my method 1, the book's method 2, is to distribute first. So distribute, that's 2x plus 8. This, people are going to just forget to distribute, and they'll be so frustrated because they just didn't multiply by the second term, and you'll get frustrated. But hopefully not too much. That won't happen too often. All right, so we distributed. That unlocked the jail. Now we can go to our methods from yesterday, which we find the variable. We're going to undo the addition and subtraction first. So we're going to subtract 8 and subtract 8. That gives us 2x equals negative 28. And now since the 2 is multiplied by the x, we can reverse that by doing divide by 2. X equals negative 14. All right, that's method 1. Let's try method 2. Get rid of the jailer, the guard, in another way. All right, so I think this is fewer steps. And some of you like that, especially when you're showing work. Less is more. All right, but there's 2 groups of x plus 4. So if we divide that by 2, we'll get 1 group of x plus 4. You can also think of it as those canceling out. All right, and then we're going to have to do that to the other side as well. So that gives us negative 10. And then we have to isolate the variable, so we're going to do the inverse operation, plus 4. So we're going to subtract 4, subtract 4. And that gives us the same answer. Negative 4 combined with a minus 4 is minus 14. Boom, boom. Either way you do it, should get you the same answer. All right. Some more examples down here that you can review and go and check out. Hopefully, that quick explanation